But I got in trouble on that ship because I had my angle grinder with me. And
ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to introduce our guest of honor. She is the one and only Alicia Taylor.
Hi. What's up? Hey guys. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, we've been really looking forward to this.
Yeah, let's kick this year's ass, man. Let's get it over with. Oh, I hear that.
I know. But I mean, we're glad to have you for one of our final shows of the year. And also, I feel like you're starting the year off very strong. In the next, what is it, a week or so, you're going to have the debut of Macabaret. I love saying it. It's such a, I love the name.
It's very catchy. I like it.
Yes.
Thank you. It's funny. A lot of people were like, macaha, you know, like, what is that? But it turns out there are a couple other productions already named Macabaret, but they've come and gone and since, so I don't feel like too clever coming up with it, but you know, at the time I felt really cool. So
I hadn't heard of one before, so it's original to me.
No,
all right, cool.
Same here. I guess our first question, kind of leading into it, and I guess you said it was okay if Danica and I mentioned that we have watched it, and my goodness, I don't even think that I have enough incredible adjectives to describe it, but holy expletive. It is a ride from the beginning to end. And anybody, like, I encourage everybody that's not already purchased it to do so now, because, you know, I feel like you made it possible for us to feel like we're enjoying this live experience from the comfort of your own couch, you know? And that's difficult to do. And you accomplished it. Like, I felt like I was at a show, but I didn't have to wear makeup or put pants on. I just, you know, got to experience it from my couch. So,
and I also want to interject, you know, it's so beautifully done, just cinematographically from beginning to end. It's really just everything happens so quickly that you just go, oh, I feel like I may have missed something. So I would go back and forth and like be like, oh, okay, I see what they did there with there's I don't want to mention certain things about it, but
there's spoilers.
Little Easter eggs.
Little leading into certain numbers, and I was just like, oh my god, that was clever. And just the through line of the story and just how everything comes together is just very beautifully done.
Yes.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. You have to feel really great. But I guess the first question is, how long did it take to actually conceptualize Macabaret? And when I was watching Girl Gang, I think you mentioned that it was something that you were maybe going to do before the pandemic, but would you consider this like a pandemic project?
Not yes and no. I started writing it a couple years ago, actually. So before the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, what's the next step in Cherry Bombs? What is the next show going to be like? Because we're always trying to grow and we're always trying to do something different the next time around, right? It's not unlike a band creating an album. For us, it's like we're creating a show. So I thought, okay, the next step is a storyline. We've never done a storyline before. Why not? Could be cool. We could take you from beginning to end and it would be a whole production piece. And we were getting ready to head out for our first headlining tour ever. So we had never headlined. So that's a whole hour and a half. And so I started writing this thing, about 2018 or so, and fleshing it out, you know, going back and revisiting it when I had time and kind of adding here and adding there. And before I knew it, it was this whole thing from start to finish. And we were all set, ready to go, head out on the road in May of this last year. And of course, you know, COVID hit and everything got canned. So we were like, oh man, what are we going to do? And that's right. In Girl Gang, we talk about it, how everything just got canceled. So we had to kind of adapt and shift gears. And I think all artists were kind of thinking, what do we do now in this whole, you know, pandemic? How do we adapt? How do we survive? So the virtual show thing was coming up. Originally at the time, I was going to create an extended trailer version of our show. So like a 5 to 7 minute kind of, you know, super awesome, big production trailer that would give you an idea of what to expect when we go perform live. But then the pandemic didn't stop and, you know, no end was really in sight. So I turned to Nathan, my video guy at Kind Punk, and I said, we're going to have to do a whole virtual show, aren't we? We're going to have to do the whole thing. He was like, yep. So then we started filming it in August, this past August, and then we stopped 2 weeks ago. So yes and no, to answer your question in a very long-winded way.
Well, but I almost feel like the one thing that kind of benefits everybody is people that maybe wouldn't get the chance to see you guys on this tour now have the opportunity to see everything that you guys provide and do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a cool thing about it. And the other great thing too is that, you know, the sky was the limit on production when it came to video, right? I mean, as you guys saw, we could go all out. Yeah. Definitely bigger than what we can do when we go live. So people will get a feel for the story. They'll know what to expect. But then when we go live, it'll be a little bit different and it'll be right in front of them. So I call it like the Disney on Ice version, you know, like when we go out and hit the road, that's what they'll see. So yeah, in a way, it is kind of a nice segue into the headlining show whenever we do that. And I think we did a really good job of making it work for us. So yeah, I agree. I'm excited for it.
Awesome.
So I guess my question is, how would you, not that you need to like label it necessarily, but if you could classify it, would you call it like a series of vignettes? Is it a short film? Is it a vignettes with through line? Like
that is the $1 million question. What is this? What is it? How do we categorize this thing? How do we even describe this? Right? Because it's like a musical, but it's also no singing, and it's as if it were a visual album, but the album was a playlist of different rock genres and songs.
Ooh,
all telling a story with little to no dialogue. So whatever that is.
It's a macabaret.
It's a macabaret, duh. Yeah. But it is very hard to explain because I've yet to see anything quite like this done before. You know, when you guys watch a ballet, I don't know if you've ever watched a ballet, but if, you know, like the Nutcracker, okay? So there's no words, but the music drives the storyline. You understand what's happening. Wardrobe, lighting, those kinds of things help shape the story. And that's kind of what we did here throughout. There's a little dialogue every once in a while, but it's mostly just a visual story. It's like a giant hour-long music video.
Heck yeah.
It kind of is, yeah. And especially because you've got all those, the different artists that you get to work around and, you know, get to play with different genres pretty much. Like there's such a cool like grab bag of different artists that I was like, oh my god, they're really playing this song. Because, you know, you get the title that comes up and I went, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And then being able to, like you're saying, like that it becomes a visual album, I think is a really good way to put it, because you're then seeing your conceptualization of the music video for that song, but using a choreography that was certainly not done for the original like music videos and everything. So it's
right.
Great like re-envisioning of the music, which I love.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, some songs worked out really well in that they're a little more literal when it comes to the storyline, and some aren't. They're a little more off the beaten path. But and I've already talked about the music choices in this, so I feel like you guys can totally mention what songs are in this and stuff. But yeah, there were some throwback songs that I really loved from a long time ago that I've always wanted to use in a show, but I never had a right fit for them in any of our shows. Like the Sneaker Pimp song, for instance. Mm-hmm. That to me, you know, it's not a well-known song. I don't think it is. Is it a well-known song?
So I actually, during that song, I went, my Siri's going to pop up. I said, Siri, who does this song? Because I needed to know, because I was like, this is cool. That was one of Danica and my favorite numbers too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that number, man. That one is so great. It's so crazy and dark and
just conceptually even I was just like, oh, that's a really smart way to do that. It was very cool.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely a metaphor for something, and those costume choices as well. And that's just that song, it's Spin Spin Sugar, if anybody's watching. and wants to know, but it's been triggered, and there's like a million different versions of it, but it's this one particular one. I think it's on the album, the original album version. And it's just so eerie and creepy and dark. And it never really got a bunch of attention when sneaker pimps were doing their thing a lot. And I always had that one in my back pocket, man. I just love that one. It's so, ooh, yeah. So much texture in it, you know?
Also, you mentioned briefly that I want to touch on the costumes are so awesome. So awesome.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my God. They're amazing.
That was, I had 3 costume designers work on this. B. Derek's, we call him Dash, and Karina, and then Danny over at Burning Babes, who's done our wardrobe for a really long time. And then I did a little bit of the wardrobe, a little bit myself. You know, those skeleton, I was like painted those. So I was like, yeah, cool. This is my contribution. There you go. And then they're making these beautiful, elaborate, you know, like voodoo dolls and these really cool dresses and just, yeah, we wanted to take this show because previously, you know, Cherry Bombs, we were more about like, you know, just the ripped fishnets and ripped up whatever we could have and super strappy stuff. And that was fine for that. But this was a production. So this needed to have wardrobe that was kind of elevated and more theatrical. So I definitely brought in the best.
Do you have a favorite number?
Ooh, I don't know. I love them all for different reasons. You mean as a viewer? Like watching it, or as a performer?
As a performer, when you're actually filming that particular song, you're like, oh, this is my favorite to dance to, or my favorite character to portray.
I want to say my favorite one performing, probably the Bad Religion, with all the fire and the pyro. It was just, yeah, it was just so much fun to do that one. And that's one of my favorite pieces anyway. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm kind of like pulling myself back a little bit from being like, I'm definitely, I do a solo, yes, but I'm definitely not trying to make myself front and center. I'm definitely trying to push the girls more forward into it and highlight each different performer in their own right. And so I didn't do as many pieces as I probably normally would have. So from a performing aspect, I would definitely say probably Bad Religion. Breathe is a fun one. I don't know. I like them all. My solo was so damn hard.
Oh, but it's so cool. I like cool. I guess I'll call it a twist. Like the way that the solo starts and then what the solo becomes is just real cool. It's really neat. I don't think that there's enough like adjectives that we can say about just how brilliant it was. Okay, so I guess you kind of covered, but maybe just to touch on it again, what do you think determines the perfect song for each number? Is it like a feeling you get when you hear it? Like, do you visualize maybe the choreo already in your head?
Yeah, for this particular show, like I said, some songs just fit really well with what was happening in that storyline. So to me, it just made more sense. Songs like Livewire, right? Like that just fit really, really well. Hi, can I say hi to these people?
Heck yeah, please.
Yeah, hi. Okay, I was like, hi. I've never been on this, so this is really cool. So yeah, things are a little more literal, so that just fit perfectly. But a thing that I really look for when I'm choosing music for our songs and any of our performances really is, does it have texture? I love texture in a song. So like, are there beats that I can bring out with choreography, movements that hit on certain things in a song? You know, there's many layers to music. Can I create a movement that touches on one of these layers down here to bring it to the forefront visually? And that's always really fun. I look for a song that people generally like to know. I don't like to do obscure songs too much. I know we threw in that Sneaker Pimps one, but generally I like to do songs that people know, because if people know the song, then they can kind of enjoy it in a different way visually. And sometimes I pick songs according to the crowd that I'm performing for. So this one I kind of have much more freedom, right? Because it's worldwide, it's visual, it's for a storyline. So I kind of got to have a little more fun and go off the beaten path with this one.
Fabulous.
So, and you took on so many different kinds of roles for this. So I'm curious, what was your favorite aspect of production? Everything from choreo to directing to writing, producing, and then performing. What was your favorite aspect of that?
I loved directing. I loved being behind the camera. Hi, Claudia. Oh, thank you, Claudia. You're the best too. Thank you. I liked being behind the camera and seeing everything play out just so we get that perfect shot. I think one of the challenges I've had in running Cherry Bombs and being in it at the same time was that it's really hard to do both and give both equal amount of, you know, attention and energy. And it's easy to miss things when you're performing and you're not on the outside looking at it, you know, from a third perspective. It's just, yeah. So I really liked stepping away and looking at it and be like, okay, this needs to go here. This needs to go here, where I wouldn't have caught that if I were in it. So, yeah. And, you know, it was just fun to see it happen. I enjoyed it.
And so obviously we were talking about how you created this during a crazy time. So what would you say were some of the biggest challenges shooting during a pandemic?
Biggest challenge was just keeping everyone responsible as much as we could and reducing risks as much as we could, because, you know, Nathan with Kind Punk, he lives in Atlanta, so he had to fly in. Well, Nathan gets COVID tested every week, basically, because he also works for AEW. So, yeah, so he was traveling a lot, and it kind of worked out to some of our shoots where he was shooting AEW at the same time as shooting us in Vegas. So, hi, Jeff. How are you? Hi, Jeff. So, and, you know, I only had 2 other performers that had to come in from out of town, and they also got COVID tested. So we really needed to make sure that, you know, everyone was responsible. Everyone was doing their thing. Our locations were pretty open. If it wasn't out in the middle of the desert, which is okay, it was in an empty giant warehouse. So it was just us, just our crew, and we just kept it like that. Yeah, that's actually like an old meat packing warehouse down in industrial part of Vegas. Yeah. And then of course places like the Commonwealth, they were shut down. So they just let, you know, just a handful of people allowed in at a time. And we just got in and got out in an hour. So everything was like very planned to the hour, and just the best way of reducing risks, you know, the best way we can.
And so you mentioned in the most recent episode of Girl Gang that you were maybe going to touch on the filming of Macabaret. Like, can we expect to see some more episodes of Girl Gang featuring Macabaret?
Yeah, absolutely. So season 3 will be coming after Macabaret airs. And season 3 is all the behind the scenes of Macabaret. So what it was like filming, what challenges came up while we were filming, as you said, not just in a pandemic, but working, you know, with a car from 1970 and, you know, having to deal with pyrotechnics and all those fun things. So yeah, definitely a good time.
Because like,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah. So I revisited the 2nd season of Girl Gang recently, and you want to talk about challenges. I don't know how that was a crazy season 2 with everything going on with Nant.
You know, I thought season 1 was wild, and season 1 was very tumultuous. And hi, Fred, how are you? And season 1 was pretty brutal. And then season 2, I was like, oh, okay, this will be fun. We're traveling out of the country for the first time, performing at a big festival for the first time. This is gonna be great. And then and then all hell broke loose. And Nathan, again, he turns to me and he's like, these Girl Gang episodes are getting wild, Alicia. Like, what are we? Oh, God. Every time. It was brutal. That was a brutal one. Yeah.
My favorite, though, was when you were just, like, standing there doing your own wardrobe, like, cutting at your jeans. Like, you're, like, making it happen, you know?
Oh, yeah. That was Bogota. And we had, for anybody that hasn't watched it, we were in Bogota, and most of our luggage had gone missing, and we were scrambling to try and get things replaced that were, so a lot of it was most of my wardrobe, my show wardrobe. And I was like, I need black pants. Like I need some kind of pants to do this performance in. And she got me like these like slacks. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to cut these. We'll make it work. It's fine. They can't tell from that far away. It'll be good. And yeah, I'm just business, casual up here. So yeah, it was a scramble to try and get everything. I don't know if you've ever seen Bogota traffic, but it puts LA, New York to shame.
Oh boy.
I mean, we were stuck in traffic for like 3 hours in just one little street. It should have taken us about 30 minutes to get to the venue. It took us 3 hours. It was insane.
No, Miami traffic's too much for me. So I don't think I can handle it, but okay. Yeah. Sorry, Danica, I cut you off before.
I don't know what I was going to say. So I'm going to move on.
Sure.
So we mentioned the pyrotechnics and the difficulties and challenges that can be associated with that are a little intense. But I was wondering, what's the most daring stunt that you perform? And is there a stunt that you want to learn but kind of scares you, so you might not be learning it?
The most daring stunt I perform is fire breathing, hands down. It is the most dangerous. Ask any fire performer, 9 times out of 10, they'll say it's the most dangerous thing you can do with fire, because there's so many variables in what can go wrong, right? Like the wind mostly, fuels. If you don't know your fuels, there's a thing called chemical pneumonia that you can get. So it's you have to have like really good technique to do it, and it's an ever long process of learning and perfecting it or whatever. So it's really dangerous, and it's a big flame, and it's really close to your face. So that's the most dangerous thing. I was playing around with a fire whip, and that was a lot of fun. It was beautiful. But it's very hard to master. And I would love to learn, so I'm afraid of heights, hate heights.
Same.
Yeah, like we can. Yeah, it's just. I'm like, why? Like, if I'm up on a ladder, I'm like, oh boy,
I mean, mine is bad enough to the point that watching the Aerialists, I was like, oh god.
Yeah,
no. And when she's
yeah, they make my butthole pucker. Like I'm just like, oh,
it's horrifying.
No. Yeah, I get, and so as we sit here and sweat, right? We're like,
God.
And they do. My God, they hang from like when we were in Mexico and Bogota. They were 40 feet in the air, 40. Like they were so high, and I was just like, all you have to do, like, imagine. All I can think of is like if my grip ran out, like if my hands got tired. No, yeah. So. I say that because I forced myself to learn aerial in order to help get over it. They're like, face your fears, right? Like, let's just do it.
Is it working?
And it did. It started to, and then I stopped doing it. But when I was doing it, it definitely helped. But I can't tell you how many times I would go up there and like go to do a new trick and make Connie be like, you promise I'm okay? Like, am I good? I'm okay to let go and do this thing and I'm not going to die, right? You promise? You swear to God I'm not going to die? She's like, yes, you're good.
Oh, man.
That just seems so terrifying. So what advice would you give to somebody if, let's say, that they wanted to learn fire stunts or how to, breathe fire?
The biggest thing you have to do is do not learn off YouTube. Do not learn off the internet. Find a professional locally in your area that you can get with to first do a safety course. That is, if this person isn't teaching you safety first and foremost, they're not good enough. Delete, move on. Find a local professional that you can get with on a regular basis that will teach you. That is it. And then once you start, getting good and comfortable, have your teacher be the one to be like, okay, you're ready to perform or not. Don't just jump into performing because that's scary and that's dangerous. And there's a lot of hoops you need to jump through before you get there.
Fair enough. I feel like I would singe my eyebrows off on the first day. That's very scary.
Girl, I melted my eyelashes.
Come on.
We were eating fire and wind, of course. We were eating fire and the wind caught. And so the flame just went like this and just melted all my eyelashes. And it didn't hurt, but it was just felt weird. But it was, it's just a pain in the ass at that point because then you got crispy eyelashes.
Oh, delicious. It's the new look, crispy lashes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like these are like this high, like this long. And they're like, and then these are all like, woo. Yeah.
Justin,
did they grow?
Yeah. Did they grow back?
Well, luckily they were synthetic eyelashes, Justin. But thank you for the concern.
Oh, that's why they melted.
So my real ones were not harmed in the making of Macabaret. No real eyelashes. But false ones, yes. And they were fine. I just took them off and we just put new ones back on and we were good to go.
Noted.
Fun side note, last week, 2 weeks ago, my husband and I were building a bar and he managed to have a fireball come out of a machine that we're trying to start. And it took most of the hair off of his left arm. Fun times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It'll do that. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Could it
Well,
like remove the hair
okay.
in my legs or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want it to.
Yeah.
It's not the way to do
You'll
it.
feel it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm glad he's okay.
On fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. A fireball coming at you. Yeah. He's okay.
Maybe
wearing
in
cotton.
Super Mario, but not in really.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's move to what do you look for in a cherry bomb? If you're looking to have a new addition, what do you look for in somebody who's going to be a performer with you?
I look for talent. Goes without saying. Are they talented in what they do? Are they versatile? Or is there potential there? But probably above anything else, I look for someone who's going to gel with the rest of the group. Because, there's 11 of us, a core group of 11 now, and we don't have any sort of drama to speak of, which might come as a surprise to some people, but everybody gets along really, really well. Everybody's super supportive. And Cherry Bombs has, for the most part, always been that way. We just don't have time to deal with drama or cattiness or anything kind of like that. So I interview girls and I get a feel for their character and who they are. And if I get the feeling that, they're warm, they're inviting, they're willing to, work as a team with people, and they're willing to, do what's best for the group rather than just themselves, then that is probably by far the number one thing that I look for beyond anything else.
And I guess it's Josie wants to know, how long have you actually been doing the cherry bombs from when you first conceptualized?
I founded it in 2013, so 7 years.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so you mentioned that there's 11 Cherry Bombs members. So like how many members are you working with now that are like the original core girls that you started the girl gang with?
Right now, active in the core group right now that's actively working together consistently, 2 from 2013. But I do have performers back from Atlanta because we were based in Atlanta before we came to Las Vegas. And so a big part of this new core group was that I wanted to form a group just in Las Vegas because for a long time we were pulling performers from all over the country and then getting together and then doing a rehearsal and then going and performing a show. But I found that was so stressful to have one rehearsal before we go and perform this thing. And the show didn't look as clean as I wanted it to, or it could have if we were more rehearsed or we had more time to rehearse. So I just said, you know what, I don't really want to do this unless it's a quick like one-off gig and I can pull from different areas for a specific gig. But if it's for a show, now I want a core Las Vegas group. So that's kind of why that happened the way it is. Kim, who's been with me since the beginning, she lives here in Las Vegas now. And Connie, one of my Aerialists, the Aerialists are kind of easy to pop in and out. They don't require rehearsals with all of us as much because they're not dancers. So they get a little bit more leeway when it comes to, coming in and out from different parts of the country.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Running back a little bit to music preferences, who are some of your favorite bands or artists to perform to, or is there an artist that people might be surprised by?
Okay, Avatar is a band that I absolutely love to perform to. They're just, and two, they kind of have that little circusy, creepy vibe to them. Mm-hmm. But they have a nice, hardcore driving beat, a nice groove to their stuff, and it's a little heavier, and I like that. They're a ton of fun to perform to. Rob Zombie, you can't go wrong with Rob Zombie ever, right? Like he just has, such a huge library of things to pull from that are so much fun to perform to. So obviously, you see that stuff in here. Mm-hmm. Any artist that is super theatrical, like Manson is fun. Mm-hmm. And just, but what?
I was tickled.
Are you tickled?
I was tickled.
Why? Because you like them?
Oh yeah. Oh, I grew up on all of this stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So it's so much fun, and I've always been a huge fan of the Prodigy. So anytime I can throw the Prodigy in, unless it's Firestarter, you've just killed me on it. I can't listen to it anymore. Anytime I go to perform a fire piece, like somewhere, like at a gig or something, people are like, "Ooh, we're going to play Firestarter. Here she comes." And I'm always like, come on.
Oh man. Yeah, I was gonna say, Danica has been going to Ozfest since before she should have been going to Ozfest.
The first one I went to, and actually the only one I went to was 2001.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was
15. Manson, right? It was Manson
and Black Sabbath, and I was like,
that's amazing.
I'm not going anywhere near that mosh pit because I'm gonna get destroyed because I'm this big around.
Man, I envy you. I would have been able to go to those at that age, because we're about the same age, I think.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He had a big brother, and he
had a big brother. Oh, see,
extra nice, and I guess he had an extra ticket for some reason. Yeah,
that was nice.
The only reason.
You went to Manson, I went to Hanson, so it was like. But I'm not complaining. I loved Hanson, so like Radio Disney. Now they all have they all have hordes of children now. Like it's crazy. Like Taylor has like 14 kids. I'm like, how are you? What is happening? They're just.
Didn't they come out with another album recently?
I know they have a beer called Pops.
No, a beer?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Really? Is it good?
Pops?
Pops.
Hops. Oh.
Hops. Okay.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Hops.
Yeah. I haven't tried it, but I don't know. Maybe I will. But
we keep meaning to buy Metallica makes I think it's a whiskey now that's supposed to be pretty good.
A Metallica whiskey?
Yeah.
Interested. So before I go into my next question, and I feel so bad, and I do not know how to pronounce the name, but they want to know, what has been the biggest challenge for you this year?
What's the biggest challenge this year? I mean, what wasn't a challenge this year, right? Honestly, the biggest challenge this year has just been trying to stay alive during this year as far as business goes, because we weren't able to go out and do the thing that we do, which is perform. And when we're not performing, we had to really find ways to, stay a part of the conversation, stay fresh, stay out in front of you guys, and really having to switch gears and figure out how do we do that in the most creative way possible that is still true to what we do. Mm-hmm. And just coming up with ways to go around that. But I tell you, man, these streaming services that are doing these virtual concerts, I mean, what a fantastic idea. They just, they saw something and they just went for it. And that's so great. So, just kind of navigating through that and trying to do this really overall.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Pronounced La Mia. Beautiful.
La Mia. I love it. Yeah. That's great.
So kind of like based on their question, I guess one of the things that I think is very apparent about you is you're very resilient, and you have a very amazing, or like you have a great attitude when it comes to maybe dealing with things being changed on the fly. And so what advice would you give to somebody that maybe has a difficult time dealing with change?
The first thing you need to know, and when I first started doing this, I was definitely that way. I would just, anything would veer us off of the planned course, and I would just be like, this is awful, fuck all this. But wait, am I allowed to swear? Am I allowed to, okay. Sorry, I was like,
I started it off.
Okay, we're good. Okay, cool, thanks. And I would just, freak out. But then what I quickly learned was that the minute you start losing your cool and freaking out over something that you don't have control over, now you've got two problems, okay? Instead of just one, which was the initial problem itself. So now you've got two issues, and I don't want more issues, and I don't need more issues when I'm dealing with something. So as we can say, as cool as a cucumber, and just jump in, deal with it, handle it, move on. And you'll find that everybody walks away usually happier when you do that. And you can rally your people around towards the common goal when you can do that, rather than something like calming you down. Because now you're just distracting from the issue. And as soon as I figured that out, man, now we just rock and roll. Because it happens, right? It happens with everything.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like that's something that my mom also teaches in yoga, is to kind of like, don't stress about stuff that's not worth stressing about. You're going to get through it, right? Like you just have to kind of take the journey and case
go.
Right?
This is how it's going to go. Okay. And you can be mad. Yeah. And you can be mad. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be frustrated. Like those are all very human reactions, and you're allowed to feel that. Just don't let it, I don't know, overtake you. I've seen so many people just melt down and fly off the handle over making mountains out of molehills, that it's like, come on, like, let's just get up on this horse and ride it. Let's go, fuck.
Giddy up.
Yeah, giddy up, Sally. Buckle up, Buttercup, because you're in for a ride. Like, you got to. You have to. So... and when you're in a live show, or even here, we're doing this live, if something happens, all right, we just got to figure it out. So
you're just like, okay.
And it does happen. It happens to us all the time. Like we're just something like, my husband normally produces these streams. Today I'm doing it with Danica, and we're doing the damn thing. So.
And it's happening, and it's working, and it's doing really, really well, and you're kicking ass. So look at you.
Yeah. Girl gang. Girl gang.
Yeah.
So you want to do one last question before we jump into the game?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So what is one main difference or challenge that you've noticed while performing on a boat, say with the Jericho Cruise, versus performing on a stage?
Well, God, I wish we were filming Girl Gang for that, because we were kind of not unlike season one. Before you perform somewhere, you do a thing called advancing. And that's when you talk to the venues beforehand and you say, hey, we're going to need this. We require this. We need all this stuff to make our show happen. Let's make it happen. And if you don't have it, let's get it so we can do our show and do it well. Well, I was told that there were no rigging points anywhere on this boat. There never have been whatsoever. It hasn't been for 5 years.
Do they have ceilings?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I knew that they had an outdoor stage that they were building on this thing. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe they won't allow us to rig to that truss because maybe it's just not rated for the weight that we need. Cool. Mm-hmm. And then, so we go on the cruise, and we had to really downsize or scale down our show to not have aerial, to not have fire, because we can't do any of those things on a boat. And I was sitting in the theater watching Craig Gass perform, and I look at the ceiling, and what do you know? There's a damn rig point hanging attached to a motor for an aerialist. And I was like, oh. And I walked down there. Yeah. And I pulled a crew member after the show was over. I grabbed one of the crew, and I was like, excuse me, can you just tell me, is that a rig point that I see? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, is that for an aerialist? And he goes,
what's that rated?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I just, it was just like people who aren't familiar with having aerialists and like what we do, just pretending like they know. And so they're giving me bullshit answers is the most frustrating thing in the world.
Yeah, I imagine.
But I got in trouble on that ship because I had my angle grinder with me. And this is another reason why I wish I was shooting girl kit. I had my angle grinder with me. And like when I got on the boat, they were like, "Oh, you can't bring this. You can't bring this up on here." And I was like, "Okay." And so they're like, "You need to put it through security and we'll keep it for you." So when you go on a boat, you go through security, right? You check your thing through the little conveyor belt thingy. So I put it on there and it goes through the thing, it gets scanned, and then nobody picked it up after it went through. And the guy working at the end of it looked at me, he's like, "Are you going to get that?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I grab it, right? I take it to my room and we perform that night. And I was like, "Cool, I'm just going to do it." And we go up there, we perform, and I do my angle grinding skit. The crowd loves it. Yay. I come off that stage and I get yanked over to the side and they were like, "You cannot have that on this ship." And I was like, "Why?" And they were like, "Because you can't have pyro on the ship." And I was like, "It's not pyro." And they're like, "You can't have fire on the ship." And I was like, "It's not fire." I was like, "I literally metal." Exactly. I was like, "You saw me stick my hand in it." Like, and they were like, "You can't, And I was like, "Ugh." And so
like, I'm sorry, I didn't notice your 10 piles of sawdust that are definitely flammable. Oh, wait, you don't have those. That's right. I'm safe. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Sally, you're fine. Okay? And
oh my God.
I run into that all the time with just, people that just don't know. They just don't know. And it's so true that like safe is a feeling, right? So if someone doesn't feel safe about something, it doesn't matter what the data is. It doesn't matter what it truly is or what it is not. If someone who's in charge doesn't feel safe about something, they're not going to want it. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter who you are or what you say or what you do.
You should bring my husband on the road with you. He's a technical director.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
For theater. He knows how to.
Well, then he knows.
Like, he knows everything.
Okay, so then he really knows, because theatrical rigging is much different than like rigging speakers and that's another challenge that we come across. I'm sure your husband probably can relate. People are like, "Oh yeah, you can hang from that," and you're like, "Ma'am, I am not a speaker." Like,
Well, I think the good thing is that we do have performers like you that will help educate people, because like it's not necessarily ignorance maybe on their part, just people don't know better. And so like just by, like showing, hey, something like this is safe, then maybe, we can learn.
Yeah. I mean, they have to be open to learning. And a lot of times the characters in these positions, I'm trying to be nice here. The characters in a lot of these positions don't really, when they see someone like me, they're like, "Oh, here comes this stupid broad who's half naked on the internet. She's going to tell me about my theater," and it's like they already just have made up their mind that I'm a stupid bimbo. And so it's battling that, and it's, because I've sent engineers down to look at the buildings beforehand before we perform and inspect them, because I trust them more than I trust anyone else, and or a theatrical rigger. And as long as they say, "Yeah, you should be good," and if they look at the plans and they take all their math into consideration, then we should be good to go. There should be no reason. But I don't know. Yeah. It's always a fun one, right?
I can't even imagine. But okay, so at this time, we have a game for you. So this is a game of Would You Rather. There's no wrong answers. So if you want to elaborate on why you pick something, that's fine. If you want to move along to the next question, that's fine too. So this is our game of Would You Rather. Ta-da! Okay, so here's the first one. Okay. Would you rather choreograph a routine to a Muppet song or choreograph a routine to a Disney song?
I'm going to go with Disney song. And I would have to give it up to something on the Moana soundtrack.
Oh,
because the Moana soundtrack is so good. Oh, yes.
It is, as the kids would say, lit.
It is, yeah. It is lit AF.
Is that what the kids are saying?
The kids are saying, yes.
I don't know. I try and ask Griff about it. I'm like, that's so Fortnite? And he's like,
yeah, I'm down.
That's not, yeah.
Is that? Are the kids still having?
I don't know. Are they still doing
speak to that.
The backpack?
Oh yeah.
They're still flossing?
I still haven't figured that out.
I know they're doing this one. They're doing this one a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. And then wavy. Yeah.
I had a child try to teach me.
Wait. Did you? How'd that go?
Did not go well.
What about the TikTok dances? You could do the TikTok dances.
None of that.
Nope.
Closest I got was who were we with when?
Oh, it was Chris Jericho. Is that what you're talking about? Oh yeah, when he taught us how to do the flim flam dance.
Yeah.
I guess that's
like is it? Did he do it?
Yeah, he did it.
Oh yeah, he did it on the show.
But like,
Danica
and I used to dance, and our dance teacher was very polite. Was like, it's never gonna
be in the back.
Just like nice try though.
Yeah.
But
therefore, I'm a director.
Don't let her stop you, girls. Don't let her stop you. You guys live. Get out there, dance like no one's watching.
It's true that I've been meaning to get back to it. It's fine.
Do it. Yeah.
You know what?
All right, let's do our next one.
Okay, next one, Danica.
Is all right. Would you rather always wear a cloak while dancing or always have fans in your hands while dancing?
Ooh, always, meaning like never
every
again
time,
can't
every
have
single dance.
Every time.
Oh, then a cloak, because then I'd have freedom to like do more things. Fans are pretty limited.
Majestic.
Yeah, it's very like, I've been playing the shit out of Assassin's Creed right now, so that's what this reminds me of. I'm like, oh.
I was going to ask you about that. Have you always been a gamer? Is this something like newish for you?
No, I've always been a gamer. Always.
Amazing.
I used to be in a clan when I was in college.
Wow.
Yeah, with Rainbow Six Las Vegas and Call of Duty. So first person shooters were my big thing, and then
That's cool.
nerd. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell you guys, Corey got me a Xbox for Christmas this year, and I walked in this media room and I played this stupid game from noon until like midnight last night I don't even think I drank water. Like I was just like,
you gotta hydrate.
And I came out of this room and I was like, it's dark. All day, just gone. I was like, this is dangerous. I don't know if this was a good gift.
It's just the sign of a good gift. Yeah,
that's a great
present.
See, Danica and I were Doom kids. Like that was our
Doom.
Yes.
On the computer,
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Now you're talking like way back. Okay, yes. Doom, Quake. Do you guys remember Quake?
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't remember.
That was big.
Yeah.
That was big. Yeah.
That was so big. Oh, what was another one? Duke Nukem?
Okay.
That was
okay.
I was trying to think of that because so we used to have that on because we had a Commodore. Thank you very much. Goodbye. We had a Commodore 64 that we used to play Duke Nukem, and we would play Prince of Persia. It was like my game.
Prince of Persia. Dude, that game was so hard. I remember I was like, I'm on the beach and I'm like, oh, I gotta find the ring.
It was like you're in this little castle thing and you're trying to find this vial of potion. And they have the like chompy walls that come down. And my brother and I, our favorite thing was to like see how close you could step to the little wall before it chomps you in half.
Oh man.
Oh,
you're great.
This is nostalgia right here. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
We need to play like some like retro video games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Tomb Raider 2. Tomb Raider was a fun one. Yeah. I had Tomb Raider on the computer, on PC when it first came out.
Danica, what was the other game we played where the code was Gabba Gabba Hey or something? I forget what it was. Or ID.
Oh, Doom. One of the cheat codes was ID Behold L, and that was hard with the lights on.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
We remember so many things. Okay. Well, before we
we need an all game.
Yes.
Yeah. Get Doom back. I haven't been brave enough to play like the newer versions of Doom because I'm like, I don't need to give myself nightmares because they look really spooky now.
It's okay.
They look bad when I was a kid, but now I'm just like, that is nightmare territory for me.
Yeah, there's some really scary games out there. Like, I don't know if you've ever played Fear, the Fear series. Ooh, there's like jump scares, and I'm like, ah! And, you like throw the
Last of Us is creepy.
Oh yeah, Last of Us. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
clickies.
But they're so fun.
Nightmare fuel. All right.
Next one.
Here's the next one. Okay. Would you rather do a full performance in like a corset or a full performance in a full leather suit?
Real leather, not leather.
Oh. Probably a corset then, so I can breathe a little bit.
Oh,
that's the opposite of breathing in my mind.
Well, okay, my ribs would not be able to move, but at least I wouldn't be making my own soup in my.
There's that. Yeah, there's no soup.
Like when I mean breathe, I don't mean literally breathe. I mean I'm sorry. I should have said my skin can breathe. My skin can breathe. I don't know if you guys have ever put latex on. Have you ever worn latex?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've helped her get into latex before. It's not cute.
It is like
a fun time.
No, it's like what I imagine a Jimmy Dean sausage feels like. Like you just gotta like pack it in, and you're just
like messy.
Yeah,
baby powder and lube, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the lube stuff. So you can slide, and then when you take it off, right? It's like.
No.
For those of you that don't know, you gotta like roll it or like peel it off, and then it's like wet.
and having nails is like just not it.
Oh no! How do you do that? How do you?
I don't. I don't do anything.
She does.
I don't do anything really.
I can't.
Like so. This is why I got married because I just make my husband. You know, I'm like, can you pump the gas? I can't. Like, I can't put my card in and out of machines. That's the hardest thing. You have to knuckle it.
Yeah. Okay. So that was. I had those big, beautiful, long nails at one point, and I was leaving a parking garage, and you got to put your card in the little slot thing that you're talking about, and I couldn't grab my card out, and my nails were just sliding. Off of it, like it was like that claw machine that doesn't grab the stuffed animal. That's all it kept doing out of the. And I turned to the little one. She was the passenger in the back seat, and I was like, "Can you grab my credit card out of this?" She's like, ugh. She climbs over me and has to pull it out. I was like, I can't. Or like picking up change off the counter.
Of like why I don't want to get them as long as you get them anymore. Contacts. That was the worst.
I have LASIK, but I guess the life hack is tweezers. So as long as you have tweezers, then you can. No,
I'm not taking my contacts out with tweezers. Doesn't happen.
I was gonna say,
contacts, Danica. I'm talking about.
Well, when you come up with a solution for taking your contacts out,
you knuckle it
using the side of my. It was horrific. Anyway,
knuckle it.
You knuckle it.
Knuckle it.
Next.
Anyway,
that's what she said.
Would you rather add underwater dance routine to your lineup or add a vaudevillian clown routine to your lineup?
Oh, underwater. That would be so cool if we can make that happen.
Dancer.
Do you?
I do. Yeah.
Is she in Vegas?
Currently in Houston, but she probably moved.
Can she swim there?
I do know 2 scuba techs for cirque though.
For O?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's so beautiful. Imagine
currently out of a job, but you know. So.
Yeah. You have to hold your breath for a long time, right? Like or like find clever ways to come up and then come back down.
Yeah.
I feel like I would look awful. Like big bubbles would be coming out of my nose.
I don't know the last time I've like been in a pool or water because of my hair. They always are like, no, avoid it. And I'm like, okay, I'm just high maintenance with my nails and my hair.
No argument here.
Kid get dead at the beach. Just
that's funny.
She does not go outside.
I don't go
living.
Ew, beach.
No, and I live like a mile from the water. Anyway, okay. So next year, it's a year of change. Okay. Would you rather have retired pro wrestlers fill in as cherry bombs or have toddlers fill in as cherry bombs?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with retired pro wrestlers because toddlers would be a little creepy. Could you? It would be like that scene in Little Miss Sunshine. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah,
she's my cherry pie. And she's like,
cringe.
For the little kid pageant.
Oh my.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm gonna go with retired pro wrestlers. I feel like they would. They know how to perform already. They know how to entertain.
They know how to move.
They can move, yeah. They can move. Yeah. They can serve face. They're good at facial expression.
They're not aware.
Iron
not
Sheik.
Afraid of wearing like outfits. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
the Iron Sheik.
They're into showing some skin.
Oh man, could you imagine?
Yes, and I want it to happen.
Season 4 of Girl Gang.
Season 4 Girl Gang.
Yeah,
wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I wonder who would be a good fill-in.
Okay. The Spirit Squad. They were cheerleaders. That's an interesting suggestion.
Okay, yeah, that is.
Dolph Ziggler. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to think on it because a lot of them I feel like don't move. Like they're in so much pain they can't really. So
yeah, arthritis.
Yeah,
real.
All right. Next one, Danica.
All right. Would you rather perform on an uncovered stage in the desert or perform on a stage covered in ice?
Is this part that we're dancing on covered in ice? Like, are we going to look like baby deer, like baby Mandy?
Yeah. It looks like it's an ice capade. Yeah.
Yeah. No, then definitely on stage in the desert. We can handle the heat. Okay. Yeah. That we can do. I mean, covered on ice. Oof. Yeah. That'd be a mess.
Great visual.
Yeah. That would be oof. It'd be like Mario Kart when you hit the banana, you know?
Yeah. But okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the next one. Would you rather?
This is our last one.
Oh, this last one? Okay. Have the cherry bombs appear in a Rob Zombie film or have the cherry bombs direct a Rob Zombie music video?
Ooh.
Hard-hitting questions. Yeah.
Ooh. That's a hard one. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know. I like them both. That's so cool. Honestly, I think I'd rather have him perform in a Rob Zombie film because his films are so great, and his films would be better than anything we could ever direct. Honestly, so yeah, be in a Rob Zombie film because I love his films.
Same here.
Yeah, I haven't seen the latest one. I haven't seen 3 from Hell yet, but.
No, I haven't either.
So it's very in line with all of it's, if you're a fan of those characters, they do a really good job. It's tough to watch Captain Spaulding, but he still, did a really great job. And that was
tough.
He was actually the first celebrity that I ever met at a convention. And so he's a really amazing person. But I know, but
he was so great in that role.
Oh yeah, there's nobody else that can play that role, and I don't think that they can ever have anyone fill his clown shoes. So,
no, not at all. Absolutely
not. So we've kept you for an hour. This time has really
cool.
By. So before we wrap this up, is there any final thoughts that you want to leave us with?
Just everybody check out Macabaret. It airs January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at noon and 6 p.m. Pacific time, but it's worldwide, and it's snooze you lose event. So you have to get your ticket and you have to log online at your designated showtime or you'll miss it. And we have to do that because of music rights. We perform other people's music. So, but yeah, that's tickets are on sale right now at whitedogsaloon.com. And, we've got bundles, we've got meet and greets that you can get with that. There's other kinds of bundles, calendars, shirts, all that fun stuff. And that's really it. But thank you, ladies, for having me. This was a blast. And I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Things that you you decided to join us. This is so cool.
This is
yeah. Thank you. This is fun. I always love doing stuff like this, and with you guys, like this is a blast.
We'd love to have you back.
Yeah. Yes, we would. It would be an honor to have you back. And after this, let's chat about some gaming going on because you know.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's find a game that maybe we should all get the new Doom.
Okay.
Since that's the thread, you know, that weaves us. Like we can get those ugly ass, you know, bald, fire breathing demons and.
I was gonna say what's that game, and I'm so sorry, like trying to describe it like this. Is it called like it's like the little people, and you all have to do tasks, and one of the people is a murderer, and you have to figure out like who's the murderer over one of us.
Oh my god, it's like the big craze right now.
Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about, Alicia? It's
watching. I know you know what it is.
Among Us. Lamia knows. Lamia, come in the clutch. Yeah, girl. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Among Us.
Okay, so we should play that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Among Us.
Among Us.
Okay.
And if
Alexandra like,
can play it, then I can play it.
we can do it. But Danica, do you want to go over who we have coming up the next couple weeks?
Do it. All right. So this coming Tuesday, in just 2 days, we have the fabulous Jonah Ray from Mystery Science Theater 3000, the reboot. On January 5th, we have Roger Clark. I'll let you do all the rest of the introduction.
Oh, Roger Clark. He is the main character from Red Dead Redemption. And
then on Tuesday, January the 12th, we have Jimbo the Drag Clown from Canada's Drag Race. On Thursday, the 14th of January, we have Glenn Sobel, and he's the drummer. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Danica.
He's the drummer from Alice Cooper and the other band that I can't remember right now.
Hollywood Vampires.
That's
Hollywood Vampires, yeah.
And then the following week, which is going to be the 19th of January, we have Steve Gonsalves, who is a good friend of ours now.
from
Ghost Hunters and Ghost Nation.
Ooh, so we're going to talk about ghostly things. But all right. Thank you so much, Alicia. This was like...
Thank you, guys.
The perfect way. And here's my husband watching as he's getting his tooth looked at. So,
hi, Jude. Oh, I hope you feel better, Jude.
Anyway, so we're getting out of here, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. So, bye, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.